Night had the crowd behind you, maybe the match of the night, taking down Brandon Allen. Walk me through what worked for you to come out on top.
Yeah, Brandon Allen's been in the sport of arm wrestling for over 5 years, so I knew that it was going to be a challenge coming into the match, but he gave me a lot of different looks. I had to be calm, I had to execute, and I feel like I was able to do that, which was a lot of fun. I mean, the crowd was incredible, the energy was incredible, and just the event overall coming together was really, really neat.
I have it on high authority that Brandon Allen's thumb is still sore from yesterday.
I promise you his thumb is very sore. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I had a hold of that thing pretty good. Yeah.
All right, it all turns from the world's strongest arm to the strongest man on earth here today. And we have a slate of 16 men competing in this field and a whole lot of feats that they could accomplish, not just in a strongest man on earth record, in an American record setting, in a world record setting. We've got a lot on the line. What are you and who are you most excited to see?
We've got the best athletes in the world here. I'm really interested to see Tom Stoltman. This guy is a guy who's won World's Strongest Man 3 times, and people have criticized him when it comes to other competitions. He looks like he's hungry, he wants to prove people wrong, and he is here to win the title.
Terry?
Yeah, I mean, for me, 2 times champion here. I think Trey Mitchell, I'm really looking forward to seeing him compete. I watched him at World's Strongest Man this year. He looked incredibly strong, which is very fitting to this type of show. He comes in super strong, big deadlift, big press. I'm looking forward to seeing some amazing numbers by Trey lifted.
I'm really looking forward to see what Lucas Hatton can put together here. He was on the podium, big accomplishment for him last year, and coming to this contest, he looks bigger and stronger. This log press is going to be absolutely incredible between him and Trey. Maybe a couple other guys get in the mix there, but if Lucas can put together solid performances across the board, I think he's coming out to play today. So he's got to have a great day today, set himself up for a big day tomorrow.
As you take a look at our full field of 16, the competitors coming up, it will all start on the log press, and we've got champions in this field as well. People that you've talked about have won other competitions, but for Tom Stoltman, coming to win here is a really big deal for him this time.
Absolutely. It's all very well winning one title, but you want to be one of the best in the world. You need to win all the major titles. The reason we look at Brian and say he's one of the greats, he won every type of competition. If Tom wants to be in that category, he's got to start winning these other ones. He has been hungry. He's trained hard for this. Talking to him backstage, he wants it.
Terry, tell me about the big thicket, though, because Trey Mitchell has won this competition twice. How does he do it again?
I mean, exactly what he's done before. I mean, I think because the way this competition's set up is super heavy, a lot of the events are purely sort of real strength-based events. There's no speed or endurance type things. A lot of it's really strength-based, and that fits Trey to a T. It's not always the fastest guy in the world, but he is one of the strongest, if not the strongest at the moment. And that's just my opinion. He's a former 2-time winner here. He's shown he can do it, and let's see if he can do it again.
It is an incredibly deep field. TheShawClassic.com is, again, the website to join us live on pay-per-view when the competition kicks off at 3 o'clock. Brian, this is maybe the deepest field you could ask for, 1 to 16. We already talked a little bit about Lucas Hatton. This starts off about as well as it could for a guy like that because the log press is his wheelhouse.
Yeah, Lucas is going to want to come out and get 16 points on this event. He's going to want to win this event, set himself up well, but the reality is this log press is going to be ridiculous. The amount of guys that could potentially be above 200 kilos or 440 pounds, it's ridiculous. It is honestly ridiculous, and I can't wait to see that. But, across the board, you have to be consistent. If you want to win this contest, you have to be consistent. It is 8 events, 16 points available in each event. So if you can get even in the top 3, top 4 every single time, you're going to be very hard to beat.
Terry, let's talk about the man that matches his nickname, maybe best of anybody in this field. Evan Singleton has a dinosaur tattooed on his back and on his arms. He is the T-Rex. He was injured earlier this year, has rehabbed tremendously, but felt like he was robbed maybe of his first career World's Strongest Man. What does it take for him to win his first strongest man on earth here this weekend?
I mean, he's looking, since the injury, he's come back really well. He looked probably the best I've ever seen him. The one thing I've always believed with Evan is he's got all the physical capabilities, all the potential in the world. Sometimes just gets a little bit too excited, perhaps, or a little bit too sort of overwhelmed with emotion. I think if he can keep just that in control just a little bit, he can still get fired up and everything, but just control it just a tiny bit, just, ease it off a little bit, and I genuinely believe Evan can come through, deliver amazing performances through the whole show, and he could be one of the guys that goes through and wins this show.
Laz, we gave these guys the easy jobs. They get to talk about the favorites, but this is a deep field. Who are your dark horses?
There's a couple of guys I think are worth watching. Austin Andrade, he looked fantastic last year, placed 4th in this competition last year. And again, Terry talking about Trey being built for this type of competition. Austin's in that same category, big, powerful man. Doesn't like the running around events. He likes the power events. He's looking very, very strong. And someone else that I'm looking forward to seeing is Thomas Evans. This guy never really gets spoken about, but he is an exceptionally strong man, very consistent, will keep putting points on the board. And I think if he can have a great showing, he could really sneak in there and cause a lot of the big seeds problems.
4 events today, 4 events coming up tomorrow. You can join us for it all, theshawclassic.com. And when we take a look at the first 4 events here on Saturday, Brian Shaw, why do you hate these competitors? What are you doing to these guys?
Look, this contest is heavy. It's hard. And if you want to earn the title of the strongest man on earth, you're going to have to prove it for sure, without a doubt. I mean, the goal with the events is to have separation. So the weights are heavy enough that the crowd, everybody watching online, they're going to see who is the strongest on each event by what they are capable of doing. It's not going to come down to stopwatch clicks across the board. Everybody's realistically not going to finish all of the events. That's just the reality of the situation. But, if you want to separate out the top 16 strongest men on earth, you have to do it that way.
First thing coming up just after 3 o'clock is that log clean and press. The log clean and press, if it's metal is one thing, if it's wood is another. What is the unique challenge of this implement?
There's a lot of challenges to the log, but the wooden log is just visually so much more impressive. It takes you back to those roots of the first ever World's Strongest Man. They were literally lifting trees overhead. So that's what we've got here. It's a challenge just not to press it, but you've got to clean it all the way from the floor, roll it up that body, don't allow it to slip, get it settled, and then use tremendous leg, tricep and shoulder strength, core strength, everything that's needed. And the visual of just you stood there with this huge weight overhead, that's what strongman's all about.
Brian, Terry, the gamesmanship that comes into this as well, because you are calling your own shots on the weight that you're lifting. I could have numbers in mind that I want to lift. However, that might be impacted by what everybody else does or doesn't get off the ground. What's that do to your mindset?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think with the fact that they're picking their own weights, it does change the event, quite considerably for some of the guys. I always used to like the whole, there's your weights, that's what you're lifting, because I don't have to think, I just have to focus on that job. But I think both you two guys were always very much thinking strongmen and sort of playing the tactics in terms of thinking about, every scenario. So I think it adds another element. You're trying to outdo each other and things like that. And I think that is another thing that obviously being strong, you know that you're capable of what you're doing, and it shows that sort of your training's gone well, you've prepped well, you know exactly what you can do, and then when to push it, when not to. I think that is part of the sport. I mean, I didn't like it personally just because I was, I just want to focus on my job and nothing else, but I think it does add another exciting element to the event.
Brian, what gets you a victory in this first event?
Well, you need to be strategic with your opener. That's going to be the big one. And if you're strong enough, you need to open a little bit heavier so that you can stay in front of all the other competitors. It's like a game of chess, but you have to be strong enough to make the moves. So if you're very confident with your training and you came in ready, you open heavy, you stay in front in that second round, and then you're in the driver's seat going into the third round, you get to call the weight, and some guys might bluff a little bit, see if they can put a big weight on paper if you go ahead of it, and then you miss the lift. But really, if you're ahead in round 2 and you're in the spot you want to be, you're in the driver's seat going into round 3. So there's a lot of strategy going to this first event, and I'm really curious to see what these guys open with.
Event number 2 goes to the frame carry and arm over arm. A little bit more dynamic piece brought into that. I know guys like Shane Flowers have talked about being excited for this second event. What's the dichotomy? What's the interesting difference about having the log back-to-back with the frame carry arm over arm?
Well, you could get some of the guys that come out and win the log or top 3 on the log that end up being bottom 3 on the next event. And that's the interesting thing with the 8 events that we have this weekend. You've really got to be a good all-rounder, as Brian said, if you want to win the contest. And I think I think it's fair to say probably every athlete has at least one event that maybe is a weakness for them. You talk of like Trey Mitchell, we're looking at him as a favourite for the log. This frame could be a real problem for him. Notoriously, it's an event that's cost him a lot of competitions. So someone like that is going to think, I just need to finish this and put points on the board. Completely different event to the first one. We're testing athletes in so many different elements this weekend.
Brian, I want to go to you on the arm over arm because it's not just any old implement. We're talking a lot about oil rigs this weekend, and you're lifting through the arm over arm oil rig pieces.
Yeah, the weight with this setup and what we have is a ratchet system. So as the competitors pull, the sound that it makes is incredible, but the weight stays suspended off the ground. So you're only pulling in a positive direction, but you don't have to try to hold it up. You're just re-gripping. Really comes down to grip strength. Yeah, all these guys have strong enough backs to get this done. If they cannot hold on to that rope, you'll see their grip start to slip. Once that happens, it's typically very bad news. So you want to work hard, get through that, keep it moving. Some of the races I think are going to be very, very good. With both of them in the arena, the crowd's going to light up, and it's going to be really, really fun.
Event number 3 is the keg toss for max weight. And Terry, talking to the men yesterday, a lot of them don't have a chance to get their hands on kegs to throw around all that often. They're very difficult to find to train with in the United States. What do you expect to see at going keg toss for max weight, not max height?
I mean, max weight's a different one. It's not. I mean, normally if you've got it's not a speed event. Generally, you would have a max height. I think max weight's a nice spin. It's a different one. There's some big numbers being talked about as well. There's some guys talking about upwards of close to 100 pounds, which is huge. I mean, to be throwing that sort of weight over a bar that height is just incredible. Whether we'll see it or not, I don't know. But some of the guys seem very confident, so it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I like things that have perhaps not been done that much, something new to see. And obviously, for us, it's first time seeing it, first time seeing these guys doing it. We don't know how it's going to go. We can sort of guess a little bit, but I think that adds to the excitement of watching it.
Brian, how do we think of this one?
This one's going to be a lot of fun, really. And again, there's a lot of pressure on the guys as they walk out there. Being in the arena here in front of the crowd, you have to get the position you're going to throw from dialed in. So you don't want to be too far away from the bar, but your trajectory and your release point with that keg is very, very important. So a lot of power is required, especially explosive power to get the keg moving. And I'm fascinated with this, and I think that every jump is going to be critical for some of these guys to get that next weight, to get points on the board. Again, performance. Every single event, it is critical that they perform, they put points on the board. And I'm really excited. Tom Stoltman told me confidently he's capable of a 100-pound keg. And that I think will scare a lot of the other competitors for sure.
May as well just throw me over the...
Yeah.
Not that far off from that. Event number 4 wraps things up today, and that is the Manhood Stones. This is back from a year ago. Manhood Stones laws gave a lot of competitors a lot of trouble. The strategy seems to be much different. It's get points on the board this year. However, there's still talk that we may see the 600-pound stone attempted. What are you thinking going into this?
Normally, anytime we bring an event to a competition, the following year, the athletes prepare better and they come back stronger. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see that 600 go. But you are going to see athletes have to think of points first and foremost. You're going to have athletes that coming into this event, the score's going to be taking place after the first 3 events. You've got to think, long game in this one. So I'd be focusing on picking up points. But these guys have big egos, and everyone loves to be the best at the stone lifting. Everyone wants to be able to say they are the best at the stones. King of the stones is a big deal in strongman. And if the 600 goes up, this arena will go absolutely mental. We'd all love to see it, and we've got a couple of guys that are capable of doing it.
Jam-packed arena expected here in Loveland, Colorado. Blue Arena, our pregame coverage brought to you by Nice Rock. Pay-per-views still available. You can sign up to check us out online at theshawclassic.com. We'll come down the line here, Brian. Your final thoughts. I know it's been a long time coming for you just to get to this moment. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. How excited are you just to say go?
I mean, this crowd coming into the arena, having all of you guys here, all the production in the back, the referees, there's so many people that are working so hard to make this event possible. And of course the athletes, right? Like, it's all about the athletes at the end of the day. Nobody would be in the arena, nobody would be watching online if it wasn't for them and the performance that we're all anticipating. So the stage is set. The stage is set, and I cannot wait to see these guys let it loose.
Terry, for you, is there an event that is make or break over the course of the next 8?
I think going back to what Loz was talking about with the manhood stones, we see a few of them last year jump too big straight away. They went straight for the big stones. We were in a position this year where, because it's the 4th event, there might be some guys that need to jump big. So some that will perhaps be in a position where they can, I can just be a little bit more conservative. Some of the guys are going to need to go big because they're going to need to roll the dice and gamble to keep themselves in contention. So that's going to be really interesting for me, how that plays out. And obviously going into day 2, all the guys are going to want to be in as good a position as possible.
Laz, you get the hardest question again. Give me a winner.
Oh, I'm going to go. I'm going to go with Big Tom. Big Tom, I think he needs it. I think he's trained hard. I think Tom Stoltman comes to take the title.
16 men vowing for the strongest man on earth title here at the Shaw Classic. Your first of 8 events is coming up next on pay-per-view. TheShawClassic.com to sign up and check out all the coverage live. Gentlemen, looking forward to it. Appreciate all of your time. Appreciate your time here on YouTube. Join us again, TheShawClassic.com on pay-per-view. The first of 8 events. The log press is coming up. Could we see a record? We know we're going to see somebody get 16 points. Join us, TheShawClassic.com, for the strongest man on earth. Next.